So you lay the fabric with the right sides facing up, and you want to make sure that the stripe is going along the grain line and it's also going down from that center. That's so you get an arrow point rather than a V with the stripes when they join. So make sure that that is running along the grain line there. Put some pins in. I also check where the V is going to end, and there's a little line there that you can make that higher or lower. So once you've done that, you just go ahead and cut your single layer of one of your front bodice pieces out. So you've got the pattern piece facing up and you've got the right side of the fabric facing up. That's really important so that when you do the next step, you know that when you place the pattern piece down, you've got the right sides together. You finish cutting out, and then we can move on to the next step. I like to mark the V where I start stitching with some chalk. Once I've cut one side, I make sure that the fabric that I'm about to cut on is the right side facing up, because I want to know that when I flip it over to cut the second side, it's going to be perfectly aligned. Take that away. So I've now got the right side of this, and I'm going to turn that over so that I've got my right side to my right side. It's a bit more confusing with these asymmetrical stripes, but a normal stripe, it doesn't matter which way the pattern piece goes. And then you just find the line here. So my main concern is this center front. I know that that's where my V is, so I want that point to be really, really clean. And at 1 centimetre in is where those lines are going to hit. So I'm making sure that at 1 centimetre, when I turn it back, the lines are going in the right spot. And then I just do a check to make sure that they're going down like that and that they're matching. And then I can go ahead and cut my second front bodice. And because the first step is to overlock these two edges separately, rather than taking them apart, because I know that I've got them all lined up, I just move the pins out of the way, just so that I can go to the overlocker and overlock them. Makes it a little bit easier to do. So I'd overlock those edges, and then when I was coming to do the center front seam, stopping at the point of the V, which you can choose lower or higher, I would get a pin, and at 1 centimetre in, make sure that that point hits that point. And I would do that for at least the top and the bottom, so that point hits that point. So once I've overlocked those edges, keeping it kind of lined up, I would just double check that everything is perfect by making sure that at where I know that at 1 centimetre in, which is my seam allowance, that point there is going to hit sure if you can see that. But that point is hitting that point, and then I would pin it in place. And I'll do the same for here. 1 centimetre in, because that's where I'm stitching, and that's going to hit perfectly there. Don't worry about the top, because that's going to be where the V is. And then I would make sure down here again, the top of the block, particularly for the dark ones, because that's such a big contrast. Now, these are block printed, so they're not going to be perfectly aligned. So there's sort of some leeway, but I'm really focusing on making sure that at this section, this top section, particularly where I've marked where that V is going to stop, that is a beautiful point to match up the stripes. And before I go and stitch, I again do a sense check that the stripes are going the way that I want them to. Of course, you can have them going down. That's your personal preference, but I like them going sort of like an arrow rather than down like a V.